Welcome to Waking Warriors. We talk about life, love, lessons, and learning. Um, got our books up, as no one can see, but
if you
they're
are friends
up.
with us on Facebook, you can see that I put it on my story.
Yeah. So we're getting the other side of the basement wrapped up, and then we'll start on that one last room, and then that'll be it for the rest of the time remaining that we're here, probably. Until we decide to relocate our gym, because our gym is taking up the rest of the basement. So, but my biggest thing was to add equity into this house immediately. So if the market goes down, then you won't lose as much because you just put a bunch of equity into it. And then if it goes, say it's the same, well, and you go to sell it, you can still sell it for more than what you bought for. So, and I figure the market's going down, so I really wanted to get this done to kind of like hedge our bets, protect ourselves, but it's, yeah, anyways. So, today, we're going to talk about food.
All of food?
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. You wanted to do it just about caffeine?
I was just asking, clarifying. I didn't say I wanted to do it just about caffeine, but I was clarifying.
It don't matter. I feel like caffeine would be like a fucking 15-minute episode.
Ew.
Anyways, so like food is an important foundation of everybody's life because like we can't live without it. Right?
Right.
So
You can go, I think, a month, Google said, without food. That's like really pushing it.
yeah, well, that's probably not ideal, right?
Oh, yeah.
So in America there's a lot of like just bullshit in our food, whether it's dyes or or oils or
Preservatives.
yeah, preservatives. There's just a ton of bullshit in our food, and we intake that, ourselves included. So, and I want to clarify, like, we are not perfectionists on this. I'm very loose with my diet. I'm very aware of like eating stuff, like certain things like MSG. I will tend to push away, but there are times where I indulge here and there. So
Yeah, there are certain things we really try to avoid unless, like you said, unless you're just feeling randomly like, oh, I want some of that MSG. But like the awareness is there. Like we know that we're buying this given and that we're gonna get that. And so many people are not aware.
Yeah.
Like carrageenan is another one that we avoid. We try to do organic like as much as possible.
Yeah. So, we just wanted to shed some light on this type of thing because a lot of people just, go to the grocery store, they don't pay attention to what they're eating. And I'm not even talking about calories and bullshit. I could care less about calories and macros and micros personally, I'm not saying they don't matter, but for my lifestyle and my particular goals at the current moment, I don't they don't mean shit to me. So, but things are, like brominated vegetable oil, in Mountain Dew, and Red Dye 40, and shit like that.
High fructose corn syrup.
These other countries, all these things are fucking illegal, but in the United States, they're legal. So that's my problem. Fucking glyphosate in Cheerios.
Oh, yeah.
That's the
literally
shit.
like poison. It creates cancer because it's what is it? It's on the crop is what it starts from.
Yeah, so it's on
like
corn.
Pesticide or.
Yeah, yep. It's on corn. It's just Cheerios have high traces of glyphosate. Yeah. Oh fuck! Simply Orange just got fucking hammered with something. What was that? You didn't even see it?
Mm-mm.
Oh no shit! I thought you saw it. So Simply Orange just got hammered with PFAS. I think PFAS. There's a lot of PFAS in Simply Orange, and they're getting hammered on that right now.
So like you were saying, in other countries, I mean, I don't know the exact list of like what is banned there and what's allowed here, but I know that there is a lot that's in our food that is banned in other countries.
Yeah.
Because the FDA, which is a joke, allows all of that stuff to still stay in our food.
All these governmental industries and, like the fucking Doctors Association, all these things were just made up bullshit that some fucking guy, probably the Rockefellers or other people with, substantial influence, created. And then they're like, oh, here we go. This is what we're doing now. So at the end of the day, none of these things mean shit to me personally. Like,
Right.
like the fucking COVID vaccine and all that stuff. And we're not talking about that right now. But
like the FDA specifically, because people will like, well, it's not FDA approved, or this is FDA approved. I'm like, that means nothing to me. Like, it is such a farce. Like, I take vitamins. We'll talk about this, but like, we're drinking like Dandy Blend. Like, all of these things will say like not FDA approved. Like, okay. I don't care if you label things as FDA approved. Like, that means nothing. There's so many poisonous things. Again, we're not necessarily going this route, but if we look in like medicine and the medical world that are FDA approved that are literally terrible for you and worse for you than other things.
So to jump on some of these things, meat for instance, if you go to the grocery store and buy your standard meat, you have to think about how these animals were raised, right? Where they came from and so on and so forth. So what they ate.
How they were treated.
Yeah, how they were treated, what they ate. But anyway, so like grass fed is better than grain fed. You can talk about how basically the sun is energy, right? That's our source of energy regardless.
That's where it starts, yeah.
Yeah, and then it hits the grass, and then the cows eat the grass, and then the which is natural, right? The grass. No one's going out there. I'm not saying, I shouldn't say that. No one, but most people, are just letting the grass grow, and they're letting their cows free range in the pastures and eat their grass, which is natural for the most part. And then they get chopped up and killed, and good to go. Typically humanely, whereas grain fed, they're more likely to be, the grain is sprayed with who knows what. And then on top of that, those grain-fed cows are typically cooped up into some sort of massive thing because no one's mowing grass and throwing it in a bin, but people chop down the
grain.
The grain and everything else, the grain, the corn, and throw it inside of a bin and a silo and feed them. So
and that's like mass farming. Way, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Not to say that we've never eaten that way, because we absolutely did for a while.
Yeah, and we still do once in a while. If we go out to fast food or any restaurant for that matter.
True, yeah. Or like that lamb we just bought. Like, I think that said grass fed though. But
that
it's just sometimes
organic.
Where, like, we'll just see something and we're like, oh, like sure, like we'll try it or we'll do it or.
Yeah.
But
so. The concept, the idea of this particular podcast isn't to freaking radically change your life overnight. It's to get you to be aware of things and then just slowly start removing certain things and replacing them with other things, right? So instead of eating, your store-bought chicken and beef and everything else, you can rotate that and say, okay, now I'm going to buy grass-fed or organic chicken, grass-fed beef, organic chicken. And granted, that might cost a little extra money.
I was just going to say it
but we have to think about the actual benefits long-term of your overall health care.
Right. It's more of an investment, I was going to say, because I think sometimes it can be construed as like, well, people that buy organic or that buy grass-fed, like, they have the resources available to do so. But also, like, if you think about, like you were saying, in the long run, like, if you're buying better food up front, you will have less medical bills. You will be healthier. You will have a better well-being. Like, all of that is going to cost you less money in the long run. And then also just thinking about, too, like, we all have choices with what we do with our time and our money. And if you would rather spend your money, buying Xbox games versus like looking at the food that you buy, like then that you just have to like look at your priorities. Like, does that really matter that much to you, or would you rather like try grass-fed beef this time and skip it on that like 24, I don't know, what is it called, 2K, whatever, you get it.
There's a substantial difference between grass-fed and your grass-fed beef and organic chicken compared to the store-bought stuff. Massive difference. You can taste the difference. The texture is different. Everything about it is different. And one thing we haven't touched base on is the fact that when you are raising these animals, they're under these high stress situations, right? And they're probably being killed inhumanely and stuff
Yeah,
like
you
that.
guys have seen the videos where like was super sad.
So what happens is when they're treated inhumanely and they're killed inhumanely, their body releases a lot of cortisol, right? And other hormones as well. But cortisol is typically like your stress hormone, and it releases it. Your body gets flooded with so all their meat, their whole body gets flooded with it, right? And then they're dead. Well, then that cortisol and other hormones just sit in the body and sit in the meat. They get butchered. They slap it on the store shelf. You go there, pick it up, and then you slap it on your, table for your family to eat. Well, now you're eating all that cortisol. On top of the cortisol that you're naturally producing yourself, and you're stressing out yourself. So that makes a huge difference on how you're able to show up in general. So like, let's say for instance, because I always turn things back, like it's an investment. So if you're able to spend an extra, couple bucks a pound per pound for meat, maybe you'll be more conscious at work and catch something that just saved your boss $100,000, and then he'd be like, oh my god, you're so wonderful, blah blah blah. No, that's a serious thing. That's a legitimate possibility.
Especially because the food that we put into our body is literally fuel. So like if you think of your body as a machine, if you put in top grade oil, that machine is going to operate better than if you get the bottom shelf BS oil. Like, well, this is all I can do for now. Like, it's gonna run clunky, it's gonna run slow, it's not gonna run optimally. Whereas if you put good fuel in, you'll have good results out.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind when you're thinking about, like, particularly meat in that regards. And some people might say, oh, well, fucking meat's not good, blah, 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 blah. I think that's total bullshit, in my personal opinion. I think everybody's body is slightly different, but it needs some level of, and this is my personal opinion, some level of animal protein. So it maybe not be a lot for some people, but it still needs to be within the diet. But I won't go particularly on diets or anything like that, because I just wanted to talk about like general food. What's the next one?
Yeah. Caffeine. I think especially because we're talking about cortisol already.
So caffeine is an extremely overly used drug. And it's underrated.
It's like an acceptable.
Yeah, it's an acceptable drug essentially.
There's literally caffeine disorders in the DSM. So I'm a therapist, and so there's literal like caffeine withdrawal is a literal diagnosis you can give somebody. Caffeine intoxication is literally a diagnosis you can give somebody.
Yeah. So, just like alcohol or fucking Adderall or any of this bullshit, right? Caffeine has just been like, it's on every fucking corner. Literally, well, I shouldn't say every corner, but like, you go to the fucking city, it's on like literally every corner. Like, you can find it, whether it's in a fucking vending machine or a gas station, convenience store, coffee shop. I mean, they're fucking everywhere. And you got a billion different choices. So, us personally, we choose to limit our caffeine Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And like today, we probably won't even have any. Yeah. So, we had some
yesterday and we had some Friday.
Yeah, so, 2 to 3 days of the week, but the majority of our day or our weeks, we try to avoid it because we don't want to get reliant on it.
And somebody like me, I get reliant on it so fast. Like, 3 days, if I were to do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'd be okay. But, like, if I do, like, 4 or 5 days in a row and then I don't do it, I will literally have a headache. Which, like, I don't want to be dependent on that.
Yeah. So, everybody has different sensitivity levels as well. But, anyways, caffeine is a natural pesticide. That's what it is. That's what like the coffee bean or whatever, the coffee plant. It creates the caffeine to ward off the bugs. And so we ingest this natural pesticide, and then it gives us a burst of energy, right? And so a lot of people don't recognize how that works. Essentially, it basically, what is it? triggers your fight or flight system.
Yeah.
That neurological part of your body.
That's why you have all this energy, because it's just like,
Yep.
essentially like survival. So it's like, phew, like you need energy to live.
Yeah.
Here
What do
it
they
is.
call that? Your sympathetic and your parasympathetic nervous system.
Yeah.
Like that'll throw it off. Like when we go to the chiropractor, fucking in our initial visit or whatever, they do this like parasympathetic and sympathetic
Like assessments, basically.
assessments. Yeah, yep. And it'll literally throw the things off because you just fucking intake the caffeine and now you're all like tweaking. Basically, your brain's all, you might not recognize it, but subconsciously, like it's happening. And so that's what happens. That's basically how it's used. And it's all these micro poisons that they give us, right? Fluoride's another one. They add these things just in small amounts, small increments in order to fucking poison us, in order to keep us a low vibration and subservient, and it's kind of like the frog boiling in the pot too. Like you don't really notice, like you're,
Right.
You're used to be really energetic and you can't figure out why the fuck you're no longer energetic and you don't have any energy and you're.
Well, especially when it comes to coffee, like it's almost like a badge of honor. Like I drink a pot a day. Like that's not something to be proud of and brag. Like that is not good. And there was a point in our life where we completely stopped drinking coffee or caffeine. Period. Like didn't have Coke, didn't drink coffee, didn't like none of it for like 6 or 7 months. We did nothing, and I had more energy when we stopped drinking coffee and caffeine.
We've never stopped doing coke. Anyways.
Did that take you a minute to think of, or I don't know?
I was just waiting for you to stop.
I did. Anyway.
So anyways, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go
I had
ahead.
this thought, and I forgot, and now I
Let her
remember it
have
again. I think we probably talked a little bit about some of this. We have another episode. Plug for another episode. Savage or Subdued. It was pretty early on. And we talk about like how some of this stuff, but food is a big part of it. Because like he said, we have to have food to survive. We need to live. And it's a very easy way to get some of those like micro poisons and the stuff that's terrible for you. Like people are becoming more aware of stuff. Like I'm seeing it more on my Facebook and stuff of like people who have kids and like being mindful of dyes, and because like with your kids, their little bodies.
Baby formulas.
Yeah, like full of I don't know.
Baby foods.
Mercury? I might be making that up. But aluminum? I don't know. Whatever. But, like, they're, like, if it's not good for our adult bodies, like, can you imagine their, like, little bodies? And then we don't really think about it. Like, I know I grew up eating, like, Gushers and cereal and taquitos and, and we still do. Like, we buy Hot Pockets. We're not perfect. Like, we'll still have those, but I just think, again, just when it comes to, like, kids and the awareness, and I'm just seeing more of it. I think more parents be aware of how this stuff can impact their kids.
Yeah, and some of the stuff is just convenient. It's just dumb convenient, right? Like, okay, fucking, you got 5 minutes right before yoga, and you want to eat something, but you don't want to, make a whole meal. Grab a fucking Hot Pocket, throw in the air fryer, and then, bounce. So, like, I get that. And I'm sure, again, the idea is to replace these specific things with better alternatives. And we'll get to, like, one of our more recent changes. The microwave. We got rid of our microwave, and we didn't use our microwave for fucking years over in Michigan. Now it's there and it's accessible, so now we use it, I don't know, I'd say probably once every couple weeks. I probably do.
Yeah, I'd say very rarely.
Yeah, I try
once in a while.
Yeah, I try to still stay away from it as much as I can, but it's the accessibility now, because we literally took it out of our house and put it downstairs, or not out of our house, but we just put it in the basement, and we never fucking used it again after that. Mm-hmm. I think we might have got it up once because your fucking family or my family or something like that wanted to borrow or use it or something when they were over.
Why.
But
we more so use the air fryer, and then if we're heating up drinks, we'll put it in a pot and put it on the stove.
Yeah, because microwaves do micro radiation. It's microwaves. That shit affects you. You have to be aware of that stuff.
We were just watching an episode of something, and he said, like, don't stand in front of the microwave. It'll make you stupid and infertile.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny, but it's, like, literally partially true.
Yeah. So, anyways, what we were just talking about as far as food?
Alternatives.
Oh yeah,
making
alternatives.
small changes. And...
So one of the small changes, and I didn't bring the bag down here because I didn't really think about it.
Mhm.
But I'm very vocal on Facebook about like trying to avoid caffeine and certain stuff. Well, another friend of ours saw me post that, and they're like, "Oh, you should try this. This is really a great alternative." And I was like, "Cool." So I just fucking instantly ordered it after she told me about it, and it's fucking awesome.
For real.
It's called Dandy, so it's dandelion, dandelion and chicory root.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got no pesticides. Dandelion has benefits. Chicory root has benefits. Like
No
all
caffeine.
these things. Yeah, no caffeine.
No preservatives. You say that?
No preservatives.
And it's so good.
Yeah.
Like for you coffee drinker, like I love the taste of coffee. He less so, like more so will drink coffee to like get the quote unquote, rush in the fight or flight situation. But like I literally love the taste of coffee and it's so good.
I like sipping on something personally in the morning. It's kind of like an addict's type of thing, right? The person with the cigarette, they have to put something up to their mouth. I just like sipping on something. It's something hot.
Especially in the winter, like it's just cozy. We're like, we read in the morning, so it's like nice to have something like.
Yeah, and this shit works fucking good on cold. We just tried it. You just tried it today first with cold, and it's really good. But like that's an easy change for us at least. Like it wasn't a big deal. We weren't personally addicted to the caffeine. I liked the habit, and sure I liked the caffeine. And I'm not saying I never will drink coffee again, but like we had coffee the other day, and I was like, ugh. So I gave it to her. I was like, this is fucking gross.
And even then I didn't finish it. And then I tried again on Friday. I was like, I'll try it again. I'll make a coffee and see how it goes. And I literally probably had like 1/3 of what I made because I was like, I cannot. Like it's just tastes different, and this is so good. And like he said, I tried the ice this morning. Yeah, this morning, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I want another one, and I can have another one because it's not full of caffeine, so I can just keep drinking it and love my life.
Yeah, and it's super inexpensive. It's $40, and it's got like 400 or 546 servings or something. It's very inexpensive.
Real good.
Like it's like the full package, baby. Full package.
And then we have like different creamers that we use, like oat creamers. Or,
and those are based on subject, whether they're good or bad and stuff like that. It's
better than
the idea of constantly getting something better, a better alternative to make your life better, your mind operate better, your body operate better. So like those are the.
It's not necessarily realistic to go and like change it all, right? Clear out the fridge, clear out the pantry, buy all whatever. Like that's not realistic. Like we didn't do that. We still don't. Yeah.
No. Like we just bought some, or I just bought some Dots pretzels, which are so fucking good, and they got MSG in them. Well, MSG is not good for us, but like that's my only known source, I should say, of MSG intake. So I'm like, okay, like if I have a bag a month or whatever, like it's not that big of a deal. Like because before we even moved here, like we barely fucking ever had those things, and then now I'm always at Menards, so I'm like they're so easily accessible.
But again, I think like the knowledge is important because then we are like choosing rather than blindly just intaking Doritos and Cheetos and all of the stuff that's full of MSG that like you're not even necessarily aware of, so you're just inhaling them. Especially somebody like you who can just like wolf down bags of chips, like, and people do that all the time. They just like eat a bag of chips with their Mountain Dew and like so on top of just not great foods in general, but just thinking about again like the micro poisons literally that are in it.
So the idea is to like, again, alternatives and changing those things on a micro level, I guess you could say. So other ones are dyes. Dyes are not good for you at all.
Red 40.
What are those known to cause? Like the thing is, so I always go back to the same fucking thing, right? Like fucking what was it? Asbestos. Everybody was doing asbestos back in the day, right? Putting asbestos in. Asbestos was the fucking new thing and whatever else. I'm just like wondering someday when this drywall shit comes down in fucking 50 years and they're like, if you install drywall, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fuck, no wonder I got cancer or some bullshit. Like, I don't fucking know. I got no clue. Drywall is new within the past, like, what, 20 years, 30 years? I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, because plaster before that.
So, all this stuff, we have no idea. I think people know this stuff that are putting it out there. I think some of them might not be aware, but some of them are aware. It's compartmentalized as far as who knows and who doesn't know. But
like with asbestos.
Same thing with like asbestos and shit like that. And cigarettes. and cocaine and certain vaccines that fucking killed people and everything else. Like, oh gee, you know, like they fucking know, they just don't care. They want you to be a slave. They want you to be poisoned. They do not want you operating, like, they do not want you to be powerful. They do not want you to be a free-thinking individual. They want you to conform. They want you to be fat, lazy, and in indentured servitude. That's what they want.
Unhappy, unfulfilled.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. If you're fucking powerful, you're uncontrollable. You know, like, you cannot control a powerful man. So, or individual in general. So that being said, in order to take back your power, people need to be able to, you know, reflect on what they're eating, how they can change their lifestyle in order to, you know, create a better lifestyle. Not only for yourself, but like, if you got fucking kids, bro, like, yeah, fuck. I'm just thinking of like some of these people. I'm like, fuck. Like, yeah. Generational wealth. I'm like, bro, that's so fucking insane. Like, the level of, you know, where my parents are at and where I started and compared to where my kids are gonna start are fucking astronomical. And now if I can fucking get filthy fucking rich in between there, not just with money, but with knowledge and wisdom and, you know, all that shit, then I can pass that on to my fucking grandkids, you know? Like, and then think about where they'll start on their level of consciousness. Like, that shit's the gangster shit, trying to fucking get to that next level. Because, you know, like, I have people in my atmosphere that have, you know, generational wealth, and seeing where they're able to start, and, you know, no wonder they think so much bigger than me. I'm like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but I need that around me. I need that shit, you know? So, you know, if you're able to start controlling your food, you can control your life a lot better. And there's, your food causes, we haven't even touched on this yet. We've touched on, like, you know, the effects of, like, you know, yeah, caffeine hits your fight or flight system and cortisol and stuff like that. But what about the other long-term health effects that it causes? You know, dementia, or what's the other one? Fucking Alzheimer's, diabetes. I mean, the fucking shit's endless.
Ruining your adrenals.
Everything that you intake, or pretty much every problem that you have is food related. You know,
or can be fixed by food. I can't remember what, like, nutritionist, dietitian, somebody said, like, any single illness or disease can be fixed by diet alone.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not saying, like, traumas and stuff, because, like, there's a whole nother level to that game where trauma's stored in your body, so then your hips are tight, and, you know, you got shoulder fucking problems or whatever else. But I'm talking about on the actual, like, nervous, endocrine, like, the actual system level. We're not talking about, like, oh, my fucking shoulder hurts, you know. I'm talking about, like, your actual system itself can repair itself through food. You know, like...
Well, they say that your gut is your second brain. Like, there's so much information on that now that, like... So, like, what you put into your stomach has a direct result in so many different things.
Yeah, you are what you eat. Let that sink in for a minute.
So, oh, a couple, like, one resource specifically. I follow this person on Instagram. She's called The Food Babe. I think I got turned on to her by Jesse Itzler. But she does, like, comparisons, like, Americans' Cheetos versus the UK Cheetos, and will, like, show the ingredients, and, so she's a good one in terms of, or, like, alternatives, like, if your family does this, because obviously it can be hard, again, to just break some of those habits, but, like, if you want to start making alternative changes, then she'll show you, like, if you do Gushers, like, try these ones instead.
Yeah, organic Gushers.
Yeah, they have, like... Well,
some
that, like,
off-brand bullshit thing.
Those, like, one gummy bears, like, those are, like, free of preservatives, free of, like, whatever, and, like, they're still good.
Fuck, there was another thing that I was going to touch base on, too. Oh, people want... The food producers want you to come back. They want you to be a repeat customer, right? So it's all a fucking big sham, in my opinion. So the food customer, or the food provider, Kraft, whoever, Unilever, Tyson, yeah, all these people, they want you to buy their shit, right? Okay, so why not throw addictive items inside the food? So then you get that MSG. Like when I kicked Doritos, oh my god, it was one of the hardest things well, not one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it was
harder than you thought.
Yeah, it was harder than I thought. I was like, oh, I'll just stop eating Doritos, and I'm like, dude, I'm always craving Doritos. You know, you ever
Shout out to Jeremy for that one.
Yeah, Jeremy Underwood told us about that. I didn't even know. I didn't even fucking know then. And then he said like, oh shit, you know, he's like, cause I thought you were trying to be healthy, and I'm like, yeah, I am. And we were at some fucking rest stop Oasis place, and he's like, you know, why are you eating Doritos then? I'm like, why not? Doritos aren't bad, fucking idiot. And then he's like, he's like, it's got MSG in it. I didn't even know what MSG was at that point. And I'm like, no shit.
Yeah, so
he
was like, yeah, this is what
it's
it
a
is.
neurotoxin.
This is what it can do. And
Yep. And I'm like, fuck. So then I had to kick Doritos, and it was challenging for the time being. Like now, and I still enjoy them once in a while, but not very often.
I was gonna say, if you like go to a party or like whatever, and there's
it's usually
Doritos,
something involved with my mom.
It's like so good because you don't eat them all the time, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm having a few of these Doritos, and they're freaking delicious.
So let's talk about the cycle here. The fucking Doritos. Doritos want you to be addicted to their stuff. So they throw certain things in their things to, you know, make you want to buy them all the time. So now your body's craving them. McDonald's, all these people.
For real, I was gonna say, I heard that back in the day, McDonald's, they still might, but put sugar in like their salads even.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Their almonds are usually sugar coated. But anyways, so then they get you addicted. And then it works out for the fucking healthcare providers because you know,
lifelong customer.
Now you got a lifelong customer. Well, I can't figure out when my fucking thyroid won't work right. Oh, I just can't figure it out. Well, they'll tell. So the doctors address the actual problem. They don't address the the reason behind the problem. You know, they address the symptom. They do not address the actual problem. So then they have you got a large thyroid or fucking improperly used thyroid or blah blah blah, right? So then they're like, well, here, take this pill. That'll lower it. And then you can still eat fucking Doritos on the weekend or all day, whatever. And then you're just fucking, like, now you're getting poisoned by this fucking pill. And now you're getting poisoned over here. So they're both making money. You're fucking fat and miserable. And that's how it works. Like, it's not that hard to fucking figure out, you know? And I still indulge in all these things. So, you know, like,
right. We still eat sweets.
There'll be, I want to make one thing clear. Because you like to call me a hypocrite quite often.
I haven't in a long time.
And then other people will judge other people and say, oh, he's addicted to meth. He's addicted to this. He's addicted to that. Motherfucker, every single one of us are addicts. Every single one of us. I don't give a fuck who it is. And then every single one of us is a hypocrite. Every single one of us. We're all hypocrites and we're all addicts. So fuck off. Anyways. So now let's go back to fucking like Cheerios and shit. Glyphosate. All of this food, right? And this is why GMOs are bad. All this food is being designed and genetically modified so they can take these herbicides and pesticides and all this other whatever bullshit that they want to throw on it.
And leave it on there. So they can kill these weeds because you're going to genetically modify these weeds or these bugs or whatever else. And then they're going to coat all of our fucking their crops with this fucking spray that's cancerous and, you know, all this shit, right? And then now it's forever. Not only is it on top of the food, it's also in the food, you know? Right. So it's not like you can just take your cob corn or apple or whatever else and wash it off and like, oh, now it doesn't have any pesticide. That's not how it fucking works. Those leaves intook that shit. You know, those roots, you know, because eventually it hits the soil, right? They intook that shit. So now it's in your food. So the genetically modified foods, and that's why they're fucking horrible for you. So in addition to getting all the herbicides and pesticides that are in it and on it, you're also getting further and further and further away from the actual DNA of food.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
because they're being
that's
modified.
a big one too. Yeah, because it's not actually how God designed this. So God, universe, whatever, I don't give a fuck what you call it, designed food to nourish our bodies, and that's how it's supposed to work. And that's why, you know, our food are getting much apples, strawberries,
just
whatever, are
thinking
getting
that
much
they're
larger.
massive.
Even the chicken breasts are fucking huge.
Like the size of your head. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, thinking about things
It's
like
getting-
that are not. Go ahead.
And they're less nutritionally dense. So we're not getting our nutrition inside of those things. We're just intaking more and more and more calories and not getting the actual necessary nutritional benefits.
Right. So we're needing more food to get the nutrients that we would have gotten from an orange 50 years ago because they're no longer the same orange. Like they're literally genetically different. So like genetically modified, a lot of them will say like on packaging and stuff like contains bioengineered blah blah blah. But even just thinking like burpless cucumbers, those grapes that taste like cotton candy, like things like those should be triggers to you. Like a grape should taste like a grape, not like cotton candy or gumdrops or whatever those were.
Yeah.
Like we tried a few, like they're good, that's crazy, but like that tells you like that's a clue. That's not.
What was I just fucking reading? I was just reading about something basically about dog food. Dog food is fucking garbage. And I know that, right? And I try to give my dogs the best food because right now in our
Better food.
Yeah.
We are the best.
And right now in our, down the road it'll be different, I think. Down the road I'll throw them fucking steaks and whatever else that they're naturally supposed to eat. Granted, keep in mind, and this is a fucking sign for you people, they get more instinctual when they start doing that. They're savages. They're fucking savages. They're mean. They get more aggressive. They're different. When you start throwing a bone out there and like they'll fucking go at it. Like their dynamics change. So when you think about that, like think about your own food and like, are you getting domesticated? And I'm not trying to go on a rant about this, but it's something you just need to be aware of. Because they're talking, like down the road, I think we're going to have fucking, and this might be 100 years away yet, right? But I think we're just going to have eventually bags of food. Get the green bag, and I probably already talked about this. Get the orange bag, I want the red bag. And it's just going to be some processed bullshit that you're going to fucking eat. And we're going to be so much further. And our genetics will literally change and mutate to fucking make that work. It's already happening. Look at our fucking chips and all this other bullshit that they're fucking adding and everything else. You go on your stuff, you got a whole fucking list of, this thing and that thing and this thing and that thing. Phenolin is another one. Phenolin causes cancer, supposedly. Gum.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So.
Phenolin.
Yeah.
And it says it in bold. It's literally in bold on the back of gum packages.
Contains phenolin. Yeah, yep. There's a reason they have to legally package things a certain way, which is fucking mind-blowing to me. They know what causes this shit, but yet they, okay, you just label it that way, you're good.
Or if it's under a certain percentage, then they don't even have to put it on the back of it. That's an FDA thing. Thank you.
And that's why I said that I know of
for the MSG
for the MSG source.
Because if it's under like 2% or something, they don't have to put it on there.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's other things that I'm intaking with MSG and I'm just not aware, So it's just, it's a constant fucking battle, guys. It's a constant battle. You have to be alert. And I'm not saying that you have to be all tweaked out and everything. Just slowly start making changes. And that's, again, that's the fucking key to this whole game. You didn't know better now. But now you watch this episode, and now you know better. So then you're like, okay, guys, instead of coffee, we're going to fucking try Dandy now, or we're going to try to cut out caffeine, or we're going to start buying grass-fed beef, or we're no longer eating Cheerios. And, because when I walk into the store, I'm just like, what the fuck? Poison. Like, it's not even, like, it's like when you, what's that fucking show that I always want to watch that I never watch? It has, like, he wears the glasses, right? And the older generation probably knows about it. And it says, like, obey, buy, consume, this
Lie.
stuff. Yeah. And so then, like, when you walk in, you're just like, what the fuck is wrong with it? And then you look at the people in the fucking store, and you're like, Jesus Christ, what is wrong with these people? It's like, fuck, and I'm not, maybe I am judging or criticizing, I don't really care, but, guys, get your head out of your asses. Like, I don't know, I don't judge things by the weight. I could care less about my weight. All I care about is my physique, right? And it's not even completely based off that. Because if I was completely based off that, I'd start doing steroids, which technically I think were unhealthy, depending on how you do them and whether there's synthetic testosterone and shit like that. So, because you can look fucking great and yet be very unhealthy, that means nothing. So I say, I don't really judge my healthiness off of my weight. I do my physique, but still, like, how bendable am I?
I was saying also how you feel.
Yeah,
like if you feel like crap, you're like, dude, what have I been eating? Like, what's my sleep? Like,
yeah, because I was strong as fuck when I ran that first cycle. I hit like 205. I was fucking slow. I was slow as shit. I felt like a shit brick house. I just felt so heavy, lethargic, but I was a strong motherfucker, and that's all I cared about back then. Like, that's all I cared about. I was like putting up big weight, so, but now I'm just like, okay, now I just want to feel good. I want to be like alert and quick and conscious and, so, sugar is a huge thing to avoid.
It's literally like crack.
Yeah, for real. Highly addictive. I have a sugar addiction, I think, because I love sugar. I love cookies. Cookies and brownies and shit like that.
I definitely have like a narrow pathway of like after eating a meal I want some. It doesn't have to be like a full slice of cake or but like I want an Oreo or I want
Yeah, it's definitely a trigger for me after eating a meal.
Which definitely came from me because he never used to be like that.
Yeah. No, it used to, but now I'm worse than you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's see. MSG, glyphosate. Let's talk about fluoride real quick. Fluoride's in your diet. Fluoride's pretty much in everybody's fucking diet.
If you're drinking tap water.
City tap water. Yeah. So it's a neurotoxin. It's literally like what do they call that? It's essentially like an after. It's a byproduct. Yes, thank you. It's a fucking byproduct of of creating metal. And they're like, well, what are we gonna do with all this shit? Might be. Well, they're like, what are we gonna do with all this shit? All this byproduct of this material, because it's a hazard waste. It's a fucking bio-waste thing, biohazard. And they're like, oh, well, we can just throw it in the fucking city drinking water. And Grand Rapids, Michigan is actually where the first... Well, no, I lied. The Nazi camp is where it first originated.
Yeah.
And then they saw how well it fucking worked. They're like, wow, this thing makes people brain fog and retarded without killing them permanently. So they're like...
Grand Rapids was the first
Grand Rapids was the first in the United States to implement that, which I thought was really interesting. I think the DeVos family and the Van Andel family have something to do with that shit, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll know someday, hopefully. But anyways, yeah, that's something you need to be take. Because every time I go to the dentist, they're like having me do some I just had 2 teeth pulled. Ooh, that's another. Oh, that's just health wise. That's not fucking any of the food. We'll talk about that someday.
I was thinking when you were like stuttering or whatever, I'm like, dude, they pulled your smarts out with your tooth, which could have done something.
You see the fucking shit she says to me?
Anyway. Fluoride.
Yeah.
As a dentist.
Yeah, so she was like giving me this antibacterial, microbial fucking...
Microbial...
Yeah, I don't know.
I know.
Mouthwash. They're giving me mouthwash. And I was like, hey, does that have any fucking fluoride in it? And they're like, oh, let me look. And she doesn't even know. I'm like, what the fuck? So she has to look at the thing. No, it doesn't have any fluoride. It's just for basically like killing all the germs in your mouth because they're pulling teeth, so they didn't want, like any problems. And I said, all right, sounds good, perfect. But fluoride is a horrible, horrible thing for your body. It does not help your teeth, and that's a fucking bullshit lie. So be aware of that.
It calcifies glands.
Yeah, it calcifies your pineal gland and does all kinds of shit.
Creates brain fog.
Yeah, I noticed, we bought a pitcher. These things are super inexpensive, right? It's like, I want to say less than $100, and you get like 2 filters and the pitcher. Yep, and I want to say it's like $80, and bam, you've got like better water. I won't say it's perfect, but you can taste the difference. It takes out the chlorine and it takes out the fucking fluoride.
Which Brita does not do.
Yeah, Brita does not do. So, you have to be aware. Like, do your actual research and, like, read what it says, So this thing that I bought, and I was actually turned on to that by my barber because he said, I think my barber. Yeah, I think Ty turned me on to that, or I turned Ty onto it. I don't know. I turned my aunt onto it after that. But anyways, yeah, it is really good. You can literally taste the difference, like because we've done.
You smell the difference.
Yeah, we've done glass to glass comparisons. And
like when you sit in your tub, what do you smell?
Yeah.
Chemicals. Like when you pour a glass of water, like sniff it. What do you smell?
Yeah, chlorine. So just be aware of that. That's a huge part of your diet. You need to be drinking water and avoiding fucking caffeine, like energy drinks and shit, at least on the regular. We should all be avoiding them completely, right? But no one in a perfect world. But
everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation. So, I know numerous people that have had kidney stones recently. And it's like, bro, the fuck? Why are you drinking all this stuff, So, but people don't learn. Like, they're just like, oh, gee, this old and I'm getting these kidney stones. Like, that's not normal. That's not okay. Like, you should, and your doctor is just going to be like...
your body's having a reaction.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. These fucking doctors don't know fucking jack all about anything. So, yeah. What other foods? We should go to the cupboard and see what other bullshit we're eating. I know they talk about gluten and wheat. And I know oats and wheat really aren't good for the human body. We do eat bread and buns and stuff like that. Milk. If you're gonna drink milk, drink non-pasteurized milk. I personally believe non-pasteurized milk is actually pretty good for you because what happens is they take the milk and then they pasteurize it. Same thing with orange juice. They kill all the benefits out of it, all the nutrients out of it.
Because they're trying to get the bad stuff out.
Yeah, they're trying to get
everything.
Yep. But if you do drink raw milk, just know that there's a good chance you can get dysentery. When I worked at the, I never got dysentery personally, but I know people who did get dysentery. I'd fucking drink it right out of the thing. Oh my goodness, it was good. But in my personal experience, I notice when I drink milk, I get phlegmy in the throat. Like I get a lot of phlegm back there, and that causes a breathing problem. So obviously,
yeah, if I'm like phlegmy, because cheese is really the only dairy I do, and so then I'm like, did I have a lot of cheese?
Yeah. So and that's proven. Like I removed milk, strictly milk, and ice cream, but we didn't really do ice cream a ton. That was kind of a phases. But milk, like I drink fucking gallon a week, easy.
I've never been like that.
And so, and I don't think milk helps your bones either. Oh, drink milk, help you get strong bones. I think that's total bullshit. I think they're just trying to
lift weights help you get strong bones.
That's true. So avoid milk and dairy typically. At least pasteurized because when they pasteurize it, they kill all the nutrients, and then there's no benefit of intaking that stuff, right? You're literally just intaking as far as orange juice, you're literally just drinking a bunch of sugar. That's it. That's all you're fucking doing. So avoid avoid pasteurized shit. And I don't have experience personally from drinking unpasteurized milk for a long period of time, which I would like to have. I just haven't found a quality source for getting that milk, because I'd go through that and try that out to see if I got phlegm or didn't get phlegm, or see if I started getting brain fog or stuff like that. So the gluten side of things, I don't know much about personally. I don't believe that it's an actual gluten problem personally. I think that it's probably something that the gluten's being sprayed with, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we were talking about herbicides, pesticides, all that stuff is probably the issue, not the gluten itself.
Yeah, yep. So I think it's something like that. I don't think it's the gluten, because you got to think we have been, or it's something that we're starting to have a resistance against because of our genetics are changing. Probably for the worse, in my personal opinion.
I also, like, if things are genetically modified,
Yeah,
like, your body could also, like...
Yeah, if the gluten's genetically modified, well, of course you're going to have a fucking reaction to it because it's not natural. Typically try to eat fruits with seeds in them because, like, fruits without seeds are... Fuck, I've got, like, a dry throat now. Fruits without seeds are typically are genetically modified. You know, that's not a natural nature thing, right? And I'm guilty of that too. My oranges that I've been buying, I've been organic recently though. Fuck, dude, my fucking throat.
Don't you have a drink?
Yeah. Take over.
I don't know. You were on a roll. I'm feeling
like I'm done.
tapped out.
Oh, you're gonna tap out.
I mean, also, I don't know. I say like also do your research. Like the reason we know this stuff and you know this stuff is because you looked into stuff. Like,
yeah, and there's a lot of shit that I'm sure I'm missing, and I'm just unaware of. Like I don't know what I don't know. Like I don't know fucking what's out there and that I'm currently intaking that I could, be. Fuck, maybe Dandy's not good. I don't know. I don't think it is personally from what I've read and what I've actually like. I know it's a better alternative.
For sure.
So. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for small changes that can, I can get rid of the poison and replace with something less poisonous and live a better quality life. So, I don't know. Eggs. I mean, I can't really think of anything particular. Fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know. I feel like you're just pulling random things now.
I'm trying to make sure I cover everything because I'm always like, oh fuck, I should have said that. Oh shit, should have said that.
Well, you should be making outlines or something beforehand if you care that much.
Well, yeah, I know, and I'm just going through my head before. You're an asshole. Let's see. Go grab me one of these books.
For real, I was thinking about the Eat Right for Your Type.
Yeah, I have not read that, but it's called Eat Right for Your Type, and it's different blood types, which is interesting. So then I have type O blood, and I was curious, so I just started reading it. I think David turned me onto that. And it says I'm naturally like old. O is the oldest blood type supposedly, which probably makes it why it's interchangeable, because it's the original. You know what I mean? The OG.
I'm O also.
I'm the opposite. I know.
I'm the opposite of what you are though.
I think I'm the giver, or you're the giver.
I'm the giver.
Yeah, I'm the universal taker, so I can take any blood, I think.
So I think I'm O negative.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
But anyways, O's are, they talk about how they should be based on carnivore diet, a more meat-heavy diet. And she was a vegan for a while. And she got really frail and malnutrition.
I literally wanted to try to be vegetarian, and I think it wasn't even vegan, it was vegetarian. I'm going to give it a shot, and then I messed it up with pepperoni on a pizza.
Not even real meat. Christ. But I remember, you were real slow and lethargic.
It was literally like a few days.
I know it.
Probably like 30 days.
Fucking hit you fast. You were pretty decrepit.
Okay.
Oh fuck. Yeah, I don't know. There's a shit ton of food. You just have to be aware of like kind of what's going on. At the end of the day, you're being fucking poisoned. They want you to be sick because a sick society makes for a healthy economy. It's all for profit. They want you to be addicted to being a repeat customer. And I don't have all the answers. I don't. And I'm not perfected in any of this shit. But I make a lot of conscious choices when I'm, shopping. So, and because you start out here, you start out really shitty, right? And then over the years, you just progress and get better and better and better and better and better because you learn better and you're able to have more discipline and shit like that. So, and that goes in every aspect of like your life, whether it's relationships, finances, food, any of that. So, let's wrap this shit up.
Okay, I just thought of a great title for this.
Oh, dope. What is it?
Food for thought.
Oh, fuck. Pimpin'. All right. Feel free to like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
And add us on as a friend if you care.
Subscribe to YouTube.
Subscribe to YouTube. I'm now on Anchor, so that means I'm putting them on Spotify. I don't exactly know how it works though. So it says like episode, and then so like all of them are under the same episode now or something. I'm not exactly sure. It's weird. I haven't done a lot of fucking
I don't know.
playing around with it yet. So.
I know, we need to not need to.
Oh,
but...
and we apologize for missing last week. I know a lot of people were probably disappointed. They didn't get to listen to us.
All 8 of you. No, we have more reviews or more views than that, but I think as far as consistent watchers, we probably.
Even that, I feel like it's pretty damn good.
I don't know if it's 8. It's like my mom.
That's it.
We had more for our last one, I think, which was cool. So your porn one. So if you haven't watched that one.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, we just got to do some crazy shit and make it real juicy for people, and so.
And we got any more skeletons back there? We can.
Not anymore, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
For real.
You can catch it.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for being here. We hope you got some nuggets, and we would love to hear if you are planning to make some changes or do some little baby hairs, or want to have questions, whatever. Like he said, we're not perfect. We don't have it all figured out, but we've definitely changed a lot thinking about when we first got together and the things that we used to buy and how we used to eat and how we used to feel and act and all of it. So
yeah, changing your food will change how your mind operates. You'll just be so much think of how much money that can make you at the end of the day, in my personal opinion.
Right.
We didn't even touch on supplements and
you're
stuff.
You're clear and you're feeling good.
Yeah. You're able to show up better for your employer or your own business or your spouse, your kids. If you're able to show up better, that's what I said.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
When? I thought you said your spouse.
Oh, maybe.
Your spouse,
maybe
your
right.
kids.
You could be right. You're probably
so
right.
Yourself.
You're just gonna feel better. Fuck, who doesn't want to feel better? And if it costs you, a couple extra bucks or slightly less Cheetos or Doritos, then unfortunately that's the price you pay. But at least you'll feel better at the end of the day. And there might be a struggling period, oh fuck, I really crave that.
An adjustment, yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I rarely think about Doritos. The only time I pretty much never buy them. Once in a blue moon. And, it's no big deal, so. But, a lot of people are addicted to pop and stuff like that. Brominated vegetable oil and Mountain Dew. So.
And then as a parent, if you just start your kids off that way, you're setting them up for success. Because your habits and the way that you feed them and all of those things, they're going to learn that and model that. And if they just know it as kids moving forward, they're going to make better choices than you did because you're teaching them at a younger age.
Yeah.
How to navigate that.
It's easier to just teach your kids how to fucking do this shit right off the bat rather than having for them to learn from you the incorrect way and then having to unlearn that way to relearn a new way, so
but do your best. If your kids are 10 and you've been doing it this way, all right, just start to make those changes and have those conversations. This is why we're doing this and this is what this can help. And
I was brutal. My dad wouldn't let me eat white bread after a while. He's like, we're not eating fucking white bread anymore. And I'm like, I don't want wheat bread. Fuck you. I didn't really say that, but I was like, what the fuck? But the parents make the final decision. He didn't give a shit that I didn't like it. And if I fucking was acted a fool or whatever, he would just fuck it. You're not getting any better. Fuck it, here.
Any bed. No bread, no bed.
Fuck it, I'll just beat your ass. So, but anyways, yeah. So be a parent if that's the situation that you're particularly in. Shut the fuck up, bro.
Come on.
All right, we're out of here. See you guys later.
Bye.
I gotta go beat her ass.